Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Hara, the Council Treasurer. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, honorable members of the committee. My name is Ronald Mushinka. I'm the District Planning Officer.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone. My name is Joseph Mutale. I'm the Acting Director of Works.
Members, that side.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. I'm also Adichilavi, Deputy Council Secretary.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Tim Kachilala, the Internal Audit Officer.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. I'm Anungo Joseph, Procurement Officer for Nakuru Town Council.
Thank you very much. I'll now invite honorable members to introduce themselves. We'll start with Honorable Simumba.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning, Nakonde Council, and Happy New Year to you. I'm Honorable Simumba Lucas, Member of Parliament for Nakonde. Chair, I therefore declare interest on this council. I submit.
Thank you very much. Honorable Nyambose.
Chair, good morning. Good morning, members of the committee. Nakonde Goka, Mishek Mtetu Nyambose, Chasefu Member of Parliament. Thank you.
You're not calling me, Chair.
Honorable Shagafuswa.
Thank
the
you.
landlord.
Yeah. Chair, good morning. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning to our permanent witness. And good morning to Nakonde Council. It's good to have you in Mandev constituency. Christopher Shakafuswa, like the chair said, Member of Parliament for Mandev, a committee member. Thank you.
Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much for introducing me, Chair. Good morning, Chair. Morning, honorable members of Parliament. Morning, our permanent witness. And morning, Nakonde. Welcome to National Assembly. This is Honorable Mwene Luhamba, Member of Parliament for Mangango constituency in Western Province, Kaoma District. Thank you.
Honorable Kamondo.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Good morning, permanent witnesses. Good morning, honorable colleagues. Good morning, Nakonde Council. My name is Elliot Kamondo, Member of Parliament of the good people of Mufumbwe, who is privileged to sit on this committee. You're welcome.
Okay. Vice Chair.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning, Nakonde Council. Good morning, everyone. My name is Honorable Kampamba Mlenga, a Member of Parliament for the good people of Kalulushi. I'm also Vice Chairperson of this committee. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Witness, my name is Amulunda Darius, Member of Parliament for Siavonga constituency, and the chairperson for the committee appearing before this morning, the Committee on Local Government Accounts. We want to welcome you to your committee, Council Secretary and team. And as per tradition, we want to confer you with the Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia that grants immunity to the members of parliament, and that is extended to you as witnesses when you appear before any parliamentary committee, that whatever you say during our deliberations will not be used against you in any courts of law. However, if you choose to mislead, misinform, misguide this committee, the same Cap 12 will be applied against you. I have no doubt, however, in my mind that you take that route and that you do the best to give us the factual information, the information that will help us generate a very good report, the report that will submit to Parliament, the report that will go out to the nation as a very good report. With that guidance, I want to invite you now, Council Secretary, to make your submission before this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Just some guidance, extra guidance on that. You have your first your first query on page 2, which is query A, specific audits, then utilization of constituency development funds, Nakonde constituency. Then I think the first query is okay. The following were were observed by the auditors. So the first one is community projects. Then bulletin 1, failure to procure desks. From there, we come to the management. We want to get your response as management. You just read the query, then you go to the management response, and then the action that the management has taken over the matter, and the remedy that the management is offering over the same. Please proceed in that fashion.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, like you've guided, the first query is on the specific audit findings, utilization of constituency development funds. A total amount of 20. Chair, I just go straight to management response?
Yes.
Okay. Chair, so the cause of query, Chair, is council failed to procure desks amounting to 800,000 to be distributed to schools. Action taken, management acknowledges the delay in the procurement of school desks. The contract was awarded for the procurement of 625 desks to Webgate Investments Limited, one of the local contractors, on 10th January 2023 at a contract sum of 750,000 kwacha. The supplier has delivered 157 desks as at 31st August 2023 out of the 625, and he has been paid 321,906.25. In view of the delay to supply, management in the letter dated 21st July 2023 wrote to the supplier with the intent to terminate the contract, and in reply, the supplier made a commitment in a letter dated 27th October 2023 to supply by 31st December 2023. It is regrettable, Chair, that the supplier did not meet the commitment, and management has no option at this point but to take legal action in order to recover the payments that were made in terms of advance payments. Chair, I don't know whether I got to remedial measures. We have Appendix 1 also with attachment. The remedial measures, Chair, with this is management shall ensure to expedite the procurement of works for projects and their effective delivery within contractual specifications. The second one, Chair, is the completion of 1x4 classroom block at Waitwika Secondary School. Cause of the query, council delayed in completing 1x4 classroom block at Waitwika Secondary School within 15 months as per expected completion date. Action taken, management wishes to state that this project was initiated by the community, and in order to complete it, the works were planned to be executed into phases. The phase 1 was the completion of the classrooms under 2021 CDF funding, and phase 2 was completion of the administration block under the 2022 CDF funding. The contract which council engaged Derek Sintumfia on a labor-based contract with a contract price of 20,000 kwacha was the phase 1 of the project. This phase was completed on 7th November 2022 according to scope. Chair, Appendix 2 has the evidence of the pictorial, the evidence of the attachments that are there. Then further, management wishes to submit that works for the second phase commenced on 6th January 2023 by Dragon Tech Construction and Supply Company, and works have progressed as shown in the pictures below. Remedial measures. Management shall ensure to expedite the completion of the project as per contract. The other one, Chair, is the completion of 1x2 classroom block at Chiwale Primary School. Cause of query, council delayed in completing 1x2 classroom block at Chuwale Primary School and undelivered materials to the project site. Action taken, management acknowledges audit findings. The delay to complete the project was attributed to the failure by the community to mobilize burnt bricks in time for the completion of the superstructure block work. However, management wishes to state that the community has since provided the burnt bricks and all the materials which were required have been delivered as indicated on the store's ledger number 6052 and 4747 dated 24th March 2022 and 13th June 2023 respectively. The appendixes, Chair, Appendix 3. Remedial measures, management shall ensure to expedite the completion of the project as per contract. Number 2, grants, empowerment, failure to monitor projects. Cause of query, council failed to monitor 39 projects amounts totaling 905,000 kwacha. Action taken. Management acknowledges the audit findings and wishes to report that a multi-sectoral team was constituted on 25th July 2023. This is to say members of staff from various ministries and departments to be responsible for monitoring of the beneficiaries. The team has since been on the ground to conclude monitoring of the remaining 39 clubs to adhere to the provisions of the CDF guidelines, and the reports are ready for verification. Chair, we have also Appendix 4 for verification. Remedial measures. Management has since strengthened procedures for monitoring beneficiaries by putting in place a multi-sectorial monitoring team. This will ensure that all beneficiaries are monitored on a regular basis and ensure that they are using the funds for the intended purpose. The next one, Chair, is a payment of grants without following the application procedure. Cause of query, the council paid amounts totaling 65,000 to 3 empowerment groups that had no accompanying minutes to the application for approval. Action taken. Management acknowledges the audit findings. Management wishes to regret that the minutes from the ward enrollment committees for the cited clubs and groups were not attached at the time of the audit, but documents available for verifications. Chair, we have Appendix 5 to that respect. Remedial measures. Management has set up a robust team to ensure that receiving and scrutiny of all CDF applications is conducted thoroughly and according to the set criteria. The other one, Chair, is failure to maintain database for individual recipients in the groups. Cause of query, council failed to maintain database for individual recipients in the groups. Action taken, management acknowledges the audit findings and wishes to inform the committee that the database has been consolidated and included all relevant information for each individual recipient groups and available for verification. We have also Appendix 6 in that regard. Remedial measure, management shall ensure that the grant beneficiaries database with relevant information for all beneficiaries is created and backed up for monitoring purposes. Chair, Part B, the cross-cutting audit findings. The cause of query, Chair, on the budget performance. Cause of query, failure to spend funds amounting to 21,418, 21,418,510. Action taken. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wishes to inform the committee that failure to spend was attributed to many factors. Among them as follows. 1, community-based projects and spent fund, the 11,938,162. The first submission of the project's approval by the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development was not granted because management did not reserve funds for the procurement of the CDF monitoring vehicle, and hence it was referred back to the CDCF committee as guided by the ministry. This prolonged the process. As a result, the resubmission of the community projects for approval for the ministry was done in August 2022. There is Appendix 7 here to back up the submission. Two, bursaries, secondary school and skills development and spend fund, 3,551,443. Council received very few applications, Chair, and all the applicants were approved and paid for. Three, soft loans and spent funds, 2,934,350. Soft loans funds were not spent in 2022. This was attributed to the further guideline which was issued in October 2022 under Circular number 15 of 2022 Treasury and Financial Management dated 1st November 2022, and also the long scrutiny process by the financial institution resulting in disbursement of soft loans fund in 2023. We have also Appendix 8 in that regard. Number 4, grants, empowerment, and spent funds for 2,000 kwacha. The unspent funds amounting to 42,003 is as a result of 2 approved grant beneficiaries who did not manage to collect their funds. Subsequently, the checks became stale, and the balance was carried forward to 2023 grants allocation. Chair, we have also appendices to that regard. And then 5, disaster contingency and spent funds, 550, 189,000. Council only experienced tragedy after the onset of the rains in November 2022, after which mitigating expenditure were incurred as tabulated below. And the table below, Chair, we have a table just down there showing the blown off schools. Share the details there. Then maybe I go to 6, administrative cost and spent funds, 458 to 33,000. Most of the CDF activities were done after the projects were approved, and this was done in August 2022, hence delay in spending. Number 7, sorry, Chair, is indicating 8, but that should be 7. And spent funds 1,944,130. This amount was cumulative, brought forward funds from 2021, which included in the total amount reported as unspent of 21,418,510. The brought forward funds from 2021 were already committed to the 2021 approved projects. Remedial measures. Management shall ensure that all the process required are followed for the implementation of their projects. Failure to spend, cause of query, failure to spend funds amounting to 11,164,058. Action taken. Management acknowledges the auditor's findings and wishes to inform the committee that this was attributed to lengthy approval process and procurement procedures of projects under open bidding during the period under review. Further, we wish to submit that progress of execution has been achieved. We have also Appendix 10 speaking to the same. Remedial measures. Management shall ensure that all the outstanding projects are completed on time. Unaccounted for grants, grant funds. Cause of query, unaccounted for grant funds, action taken. Management acknowledges the audit findings and wishes to inform the committee that management has since requested the affected groups to provide documentation and records that show how the funds were utilized. This includes detailed reports, receipts, invoices, and any other relevant documentation that can account for disbursed funds. Remedial measure. Management has strengthened the procedures for monitoring beneficiaries by putting in place a multi-sectorial monitoring team. This will ensure that all relevant documentation is obtained from the beneficiaries as to account for disbursed funds. Cause of query. That's 5, questionable disbursement of CDF, sorry, Chair. Question of disbursement of CDF, cause of query, questionable disbursement of CDF, action taken. Management acknowledges the audit findings and wishes to mention that all the affected clubs have been engaged to submit all the required membership information and documentation to comply with the guidelines and eligibility criteria. We have Appendix 12, Chair, in that regard. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure that CDF guidelines and other relevant prescribed guidelines are adhered to. 6, failure to produce monitoring reports. Cause of query, failure to produce monitoring reports. Management acknowledges the audit findings and wishes to report that a multi-sectorial team was constituted, this is say members from other line ministries, to be responsible for monitoring of beneficiaries and producing monitoring reports thereafter. Chair, I beg your pardon, we don't have Appendix 13, but we'll refer to Appendix 4 because it is speaking of the same. So we just adjust there, instead of Appendix 13, it's Appendix 4. Remedial measure. Management has strengthened procedures for monitoring beneficiaries by putting in place a multi-sectorial monitoring team to ensure that the monitoring reports are produced immediately after the activity is completed. Appendix 7, misappropriation of funds. Cause of query, misappropriation of funds. Action taken. Management acknowledges audit findings and wishes to mention that the affected groups were written to and instructed to provide justification for their actions. We have Appendix 14 in that regard. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure to conduct continuous sensitization of communities through the ward development committees on the prudent utilization of grants. Appendix 8, failure to disburse soft loans. Cause of query, failure to disburse soft loans. Action taken. Management acknowledges the audit findings and wishes to state that the soft loans were not disbursed during the period under review. This was attributed to the guideline which was issued in October 2022 under Circular number 15 of 2022, Treasury and Financial Management, with that reference dated 1st November 2022. This was further worsened by the long scrutiny process by the financial institutions, resulting in disbursement of soft loans funds in 2023. Again, Chair, I beg your pardon, we adjust there instead of Appendix 15, we are referring to Appendix 8. Instead of Appendix 15, we're referring to Appendix 8. Remedial measure. Management shall ensure to make follow-up to the latter so that the soft loan funds is disbursed within the financial year. I wish to submit my clarification on the cited queries and assurance to the committee chair that remedial measures to the queries for Nakonde Town Council shall be adhered to. I thank you, Chair. Submit.
Thank you very much, honorable members, Honorable Kamondo, Honorable Shakafuswa, Honorable Nyambose, and then Honorable Mwene, in that order. Honorable Kamondo.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I want to speak to the first query on...
honorable members, be guided that each one will ask one question per round, so each one will have an opportunity to ask just a question for.
Yes, on the first query, failure to procure desks. I think it has taken too long for this contractor to to procure or to supply the desks. And as you may be aware, there was also a presidential directive to make sure that no child would sit on the floor by the end of 2023. And you were also aware that that was a presidential directive. Then you have a contractor whom you contracted in 2022, still more doesn't actually deliver the desks. And you took too long to take action. Why did you express this leniency until it had to take the auditors to query why these desks were not supplied to Nakonde Council? Why did you take too long? Is it because this person is a local contractor and you felt some lenience, you applied some lenience? Who has finally disappointed you? Why did you take too long? Thank you.
Just what we'll be doing, honorable members, again, further guidance is that when a question is asked like that, we should exhaust it. If there are follow-up questions, we can ask. Maybe I would ask a question as well. That, you gave one contractor, you didn't have another contractor, because at least you would have split this contract so that at least the desks would be manufactured quickly. So you had only one contractor in that district or in that constituency. Just a follow-up to that, please. Maybe before you come in, we want to be taking about 3-4 questions.
Okay, a follow-up on the same.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. A follow-up is that at the time of audit, only 157 desks were delivered. That is only as at 31st August 2023. When I did the arithmetic, Chair, the desk was costing 188,400. The contract that the council had apportioned 800,000 for the desks, but the contract awarded was 750,000, meaning that one desk was to cost 1,200. As at 31st August 2023, only 157 desks were delivered, but an advance payment was made of 321,906.25 kwacha. How do you account for this? Only 157 were delivered. What was the motivation for you to allow this contractor fail lamentably in this manner?
We invite you, Council Secretary, to react to that.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, starting with the first question, I may be straying into even the other questions. Chair, for sure we used a local contractor, and this is also according to the guidance from government that we need to empower the people around the district. So unfortunately, Chair, this local contractor has not performed. I should admit up to now his performance has not been impressive. And that's why as we're concluding this item, we're saying we need just to take him to court to recover part of the advance payment that was given to him. I wish he had supplied all the material, even equivalent to the advance payment, then wouldn't have gone to the extent of wanting to take legal action so that we can recover the payments. But unfortunately, Chair, he's not performed. Now, why did we take long? Chair, we would want to also build capacity. That is one of the processes that we have, or maybe responsibility, that we need to build capacities within the contractors, the local contractors. They may not have this, the capacity currently that they can run with projects very well, but we try to build capacity in them, and there's a process. We're trying to guide him how best to make sure that he delivers on the contract. That took long. It took long. We've reached a point here whereby we can no longer continue, waiting for him. So basically, that's what made us take that long.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Honorable Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair, and through you to Nakonde Council. For me, I find your answer very satisfactory. First and foremost, I get a feeling that there was no monitoring on your behalf as a local authority, because this contract was awarded in 2022, and obviously having a group of technocrats in your council, if monitoring was done, you would have known that this contractor is not capable. Out of the 600 plus desks, 1 year down the line, they only produced 165 or 67. So for me, I feel monitoring was not done. Two, in as much as we want to build capacity, first and foremost, capacity, there should be equity in how monies are distributed at local level to allow also participation of other contractors. This was a huge sum, and this is a small town to give one contractor. So for me, I feel equity was not applied in the distribution of taxpayers' money to allow capacity building. So when you talk about capacity building, I find it very difficult, because you are building capacity in one company. What about the others? This is why we are having lapses like that. So for me, I'm not really getting it clear, Chair, why you just awarded, you decided as a council to build capacity in only one contractor. And when this contractor, this is 2 years down the line, where was the monitoring? So we are going to have failure in delivering, especially that a presidential directive was given. So for me, I feel the answer given by the council, town clerk, I think is not satisfactory. When we're building capacity, there should be equity in how we distribute the funds, and also monitoring. If we were monitoring that this contractor is not capable, we would not be where we are today. I submit, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable Shagafuswa, you wanted to the same? No, it's another one. All right, please, let's go to the next one. Oh. No. We are moving out from the desk. Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry for coming late. Mutelo Mishek, MP for Mitete. According to you, it's only 157 desks delivered. But you have given us some appendix 1. In one of those, it is saying 233 desks delivered and a payment made. What should we take? 157, 233, and you made a payment, and it's being acknowledged by the supplier. Chair, who is telling us the truth?
Council Secretary, kindly reconcile that.
Yes, Chair. Of course, we are telling the truth, Chair. The information from the contract, of course, is indicating more desks than what was actually accepted, because that included desks which were not in good state, and we rejected them. So what we finally agreed that this is what is delivered and accepted, and also delivered even in the schools, is 157. Yes, and that's what the GRN would show is received by the schools. Maybe, Chair, if I can also answer briefly the response, or maybe the question from the Vice Chair. Unfortunately, she's not around, but I can proceed.
Please go ahead.
Yes, Chair. Chair, it's not that we concentrated only on the one contractor. We learned our lessons. If you see the next disbursement of the desks that we made, which were 4,000, about 4,000. Chair, we distributed those desks to several people. or contractors. We didn't want to fall into the same pit of having only one contractor. Initially, this contractor showed a lot of capacity. You know, he presented all the good documents one would present and showing capacity that he's able to do it. We engaged him several times, Chair, several times, and even having meetings with other stakeholders like the district commissioner and others. We had meetings with him, trying to encourage him so that he can produce, and then we close this chapter, but he didn't perform. So learning lessons from there, Chair, the next consignment of the desks that we procured of 4,000, we had to distribute them to several suppliers. And this has helped us to achieve in terms of performance.
Thank you, Honorable Mtela.
Thank you. I agree with you. 233 delivered. According to the contractor, 177 rejected. What would be the balance? If my mathematics is okay, 56. You are saying we received 157. If you knock out 177 from 233, you remain with 56. That's why I'm still asking, Chair, who is telling the truth? Who?
Council Secretary. Our short one on the same.
Yeah. The supplier is accusing the council of negligence in managing the desks delivered. According to him, in Appendix 1, he delivered desks which were in good condition, but you kept them in an environment outside the civic center, which resulted the desks warping or getting damaged. Confirm.
Council Secretary.
Chair, maybe I can start with the last question. The contractor, Chair, first of all, when the inspections were done at his site, he had heaped actually the desks. And somehow, because those who went to inspect, they checked, you know, sampling, checking on top. But those that were down there, because it was one big heap, they were not okay. And so he delivered everything at once. Now, in order to thoroughly check the desks that were brought before they are delivered to schools, that's how it was discovered actually that a number of them were not worthy paying for. So that is the claim he's saying you left them there, because we wanted him also to come and see that these desks are not okay as presented. So yes, we needed to spread them, because if we allowed a situation where they were put in a truck the way they were and taken, we wouldn't have known. We would have taken desks that were not okay again, just like they were seen from site. So we had to spread them and asked him to come and witness that this and this, the numbers of desks are not okay. Can you take them back? And he did so, and he took them back to his workshop.
And the second question, the 56 desks.
Maybe, Chair, I can ask the engineer. Are you able to clarify?
Please go ahead, engineer.
Thank you, Chair. So ideally, he delivered 101 desks prior to the 233 desks that he's claiming for. So when you do your math, 101 plus the 56, the balance that is remaining brings the total to 157. Submit.
Thank you. Okay. You know, your report was supposed to be very clear. All the figures were supposed to be put there. Say initially, the desks that the supplier supplied were 233, but upon thorough inspection, we discovered is it 177 are not okay, and we have this balance. And initially, like he's saying, initially he delivered 101, and then we got 56. If you have that and the members are able to go through your report, they wouldn't be asking. But if it's some information, there are information gaps, then it invites these questions. Your report should always be thorough, and all the pieces of information should be put on the report so that we don't have to ask about things that we feel are not adding up. Honorable Mwene.
Chair, we appreciate that guidance very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair. CS. Someone brings properties, desks in your yard, heaps them there. You don't counter check right there and then in his presence. How long did you take for you to check whether the desks delivered were in good shape or not? Did you take 5 months, 1 year? Because he can be right to state that he brought proper desks. It's just because you kept them in a wrong place, meaning you never checked them right there and then, of which that negligence then is on the part of the council. So how long did you take before you checked the desks? Because according to me, when someone has delivered, you are supposed to check there and then. How long did you take?
Maybe that one, without defending the council secretary, his explanation was at his factory, at his workshop, he had heaped them. They are not proper. They are not sprayed, so they are heaped. So the council officers went to check the desks are ready, but in checking, they didn't check those ones that were down there. They just check on the sides, and the supplier moved the desk now to transported the desk to the final users. And that's when the council went there now. That's when they had an opportunity to say, some of these desks are not okay. So it was like those desks were hidden. That's my understanding. Anyway, you can speak for yourself. Before you speak, Honorable.
So is still chair can still be called Nyambosi, although it can only be Mishek.
No, because Nyambosi comes on time, so I'm used to him. Honorable Mtev.
CS, thank you so very much. Just to put it on record properly, the legal action, has it been taken or yet to be taken? If you have taken, where is the proof? If not, when?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, to answer the first question, it took us about 3 days for the gentleman to come and actually see the desks, because we needed to do the inspection also in his presence. So he brought them at the civic center, sprayed them. So when we sprayed, again when they were brought to the civic center, luckily we didn't load them in the truck immediately, so we had to spray them. So the process of spreading, that's what helped us actually to see that they were not okay. And in the process, we asked him to come. So on the third day, we managed to scrutinize the desks. Then, Chair, it's just the procedures. We need to take this matter back to the CDC, to the procurement committee, before we can proceed to take the legal action.
I'm not trying to interrupt the council secretary. The question that came from Honorable Mtero is very specific. Just give us it has taken over a year for these desks. You are now taking us back to a story of how they were heaped. I think you explained very well. What we want to hear from you, because there were so many questions still waiting, time. You take us. Did you take legal action as you indicated? If so, where is the evidence? If not, when do you intend? Just those direct so that we can have others to ask other questions. I thought I should guide you.
Before you respond, Honorable Shakafusa, on the same? No.
My question is different.
Okay, all right. Honorable Vice Chair, do you have something on the same?
Yes, Chair. For me, I think it's just an observation. I think where we are today as a council in issues of these desks and not noticing that there were damages. For me, I feel, Chair, that even in the monitoring, because the monitoring should also include the area member of parliament, the councillors that sit in the committee. So coordinated effort really helps resolve a lot of issues. So maybe my advice to them is that when they are doing these issues, because if you are going to just send maybe a few of your council workers, because from his statement, Chair, I'm not hearing other members of the
Stakeholders,
or other stakeholders in terms of monitoring. So my encouragement to UTC is that next time in issues like this, especially monitoring, when we're going to take collective responsibility, allow also other players. Your member of parliament is also part of the CDF. Your councillors are also part of the CDF. And in my language, they say, "Umuno umota usalanda." So meaning that if you want progressive works, combine the efforts, because
Meaning?
those desks would have been, I've said combined efforts, Chair.
Thank
So
you very
meaning that if you allow other players also to participate in monitoring, you will find that you have less hassles, you have less audit queries, because others will also partake in the monitoring. That's my observation,
Thank you very much.
Chair.
He hasn't even answered your question.
So, Chair, maybe if I can start with the Madam's advice. Actually, basically, Chair, that's where we are now. The project engineer, the project manager comes from the council, but the project engineer for the desks, specifically this project of the desks, is actually the buildings officer from Ministry of Education. Is the one who certifies. It's not even the officer from the council. But the one in charge of all the projects is the director of works. But him is the one who does the certification. And the delivery notes also comes from the schools before we do payment. So we have a team, Chair, that is actually looking at these projects. Thank you very much. Chair, the issue of the legal action, I mentioned that we haven't yet gotten to court because there's one bit of a procedure that we need to work on. We need to submit the matter back to the procurement committee meeting. Then from there, we'll take action. So that's the very last part of
this is very critical, Chair. It has taken over 1 year for these desks, Council Secretary. You have not convened procurement committee or CDF committee. They have never sat for 1 year so that you can take this matter and pay. This is money, taxpayers' money. You have taken that long without this action. A short one. Why?
Council Secretary.
Chair, it's a bit hard to answer the why, but really it's just the procedures. 1 year, yes, like I was saying, we're trying to help him, but in the end now, we are set. That's why we even put it in our report that we are taking legal action. Right from here, I think in the coming week or so, we should be able to finish the process of the committee meetings. Then we'll take legal action.
I think the worry for this committee is a period that it has taken, the time that has elapsed on the same matter. Yes, you would love to build capacity in the local contractors, but not at the expense of service delivery. We will not do that, because ultimately, whatever we do, we want to see that the ordinary people out there, the communities, are given service, and service delivery is number one. So we will not skip around a contractor that will not deliver up to 12 months and beyond. That would have been failure on our part as managers, because ultimately, like I've said, is the service delivery that we are looking for. So I'm sure the best word for you was to regret over the period that has maybe elapsed, and like you have rightly done, that going forward, you would not look at one person, you want to look at all those people that would maybe execute the contracts within the stipulated time, so that we deliver service. So that period, we can't run away from it. It was not good for us. It was actually a very big oversight for us. We are supposed to have acted earlier than this. Thank you. Yes, Honorable Mwene.
Thank you so much. I think, as you have mentioned, it's not a good thing, Nakonde Council, where a situation where it's a presidential directive that no child must sit on the floor, and you never took any concern and seriousness to that presidential directive. if as a council you can't take presidential directive that serious, then whom do you want to instruct you to take issues seriously? It had to take the auditors to prompt you to do that. It had to take you to come to this committee. That's when you are telling us next week is when you are going to do that. Really, is that seriousness of the council? This is not a good performance on your side. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Shakafuswa.
Thank you so much, Chair. For me, I wish to draw you to page 7. The council paid amounts totaling 65,000 kwacha to 3 empowerment groups that had no accompanying minutes to the application for approval. And yes, management has regretted in their response, but they have put minutes as Appendix 5 for our verification. I was going through the minutes. If we can go to Appendix 5. We can start with the last set of the minutes just at the end there. And I'm looking at the attendance register for stakeholder events. And this is the minutes of the 17th of April. Is it May 2022 at Katozi Secondary School? If you go to the attendance list, I'm very interested in the attendance list. You find that where the attendants are supposed to sign, it's only signed by 2 people. Only 6 people attended this meeting. Are you there, RTC? Only 6 people attended this meeting. And only 2 signed. I'm wondering, is this the composition of the Ward Development Committee? Which council officers attended this meeting, and why didn't they put their names in the attendance register? And my final question is, since you've asked us to verify, do you still want us to go with this appendix as a true copy? Because if you look at, even just at the handwriting of the person who was writing, it's one person who was writing all the names, and even the signature, it's one pen and one person signing. Is this a true copy that you would want this committee to believe that this is what transpired? I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Nyambosa, on the same.
Yes, follow-up question, Chair, on what Honorable Shakafus was asked. When you go through the whole document, Chair, you will note that even the copies of the minutes in question, you look at the date stamps. And I want us to take interest, Chair. When you look at the date stamps, you can't get anything. If you look at Appendix 1, where it is very obvious on the Webgate investment, look at the date stamp for Nakonde Council. Very clear, showing that this is an organized institution. They have date stamps that are clear. But those questionable issues in the reports, I want you to take interest, and as I will read you, my question will come, you see the date stamps. They blare them. You can't read anything. So it comes to what Honorable Shakafus has asked. Is this the official date stamp for the council? And what did you read from that date stamp, Council Secretary?
Thank you very much, Council Secretary. Your response.
Chair, let me ask my Director Planning to give a response.
Director Planning.
Thank you, Chair. So the date stamp endorsed on the minutes is actually the date stamp under my office, and we were just endorsing this just to authenticate, to say that this is what we'll be providing before this committee. These are not date stamps coming from the WDCs, but we're just trying to authenticate them as evidence to this committee. And
See, Chair, before he answers, Honorable Shakafuso, on the date stamp, what did you read? Maybe you are able to read. This date stamp of mine, what can you see here?
So on page what?
Is this a council date stamp, and this is how your office date stamp as a planner comes out? What are you communicating?
Yes, Chair, it is true. The date stamp is blared, and I think we can only apologize, Chair, and I think we'll try to have it fixed so that I think it is yeah.
Council Secretary?
Yes, sir.
So on the date stamp you're saying?
Chair, the date stamp indeed is under planning department. It's a council date stamp, but like I said, I think we could have been just putting them in a hurry, because this was just meant to authenticate that it's a document that we are bringing to this committee.
Okay.
It's not a WDC date stamp, no.
Mine is better. Mine is better, I think. Maybe.
I can repeat.
Chair, we got your question. We got the question from
Yes,
Honorable
please.
Shakafosa.
Go ahead, respond.
Okay. Yeah, so I think on the observation, of course, by on the attendance list, of course, the WDs I think is composed of about 12 members, but of course we have been having challenges, especially participation of our WDCs, I think, in these meetings. So the membership is about 12, but of course only about 6 people attended that meeting. I think at the time they were meeting to scrutinize the applications from the communities. And sometimes, Chair, we have challenges of people probably writing. So sometimes probably they will just take the secretary so that they write the names of probably people who are in attendance. So that's why it seems like it's just one person who was writing. So there are issues of sometimes people, yes, literacy level sometimes in our areas is a problem. So sometimes they just give probably one person a secretary to write for all the members who are present, and that's why it seems
that is understood. But please try as much as you can to encourage them. If it's John Piri, just the JP. Even if they are unable to, they can't put up a signature, but just JP, to avoid queries like this, that like we sit behind the house and start manufacturing everything and do that. So if we can do for maybe 1 or 2 people, we equally understand where we come from in our constituencies, that there are people that that wouldn't do that, but minimize not the whole list is one person. I appreciate that one person can write the names, the secretary can put up the names, but when it comes to signing, if it's JP or DP or whatever, we just try to make sure, unless, yes, Honorable Shagafoso, just before you come in, Honorable Nyambose.
Chair, my last question was that I wanted them to indicate that these are true records of what really transpired, because to me this is manufactured, Chair. Even if you have issues of writing your name, but you are able to sign. If you look at the document I'm referring to, only 2 people signed.
Yes.
Chair, do you still want to submit to this committee that this is a true record?
Chair, that's why we have stamped them. So this is a true copy. Chair, the literacy levels are actually serious, and usually one person who is able to write will write. So, Chair, I would say this is the true copy that we have submitted.
I think
Chair, allow me. Chair, these are serious documents, Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
People who cannot sign.
I've allowed you.
Yes, Chair. People who cannot sign, they put their thumbprint. And you cannot allow one person. Why didn't you, this person's secretary, sign for the other 4, since he signed for the 2? And this is, at this age, a council, WDCs, even if they don't know how to sign, you can't put their fingerprints there, their thumbprints. I think, Chair, we should not encourage this. You can tell from this whole thing, this is a manufactured document. Council Secretary. These are public.
Chair,
the expectations. I'm speaking, take heart, my brother. You have brought these documents. And I want to show you my next question. That's why you should be active. Because I want to show you that these things, you just manufacture them. Chair. Let me answer my question. Go to page 10 now. Page 10, Chair. I want you to take interest.
Yeah, it's a new question, right?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, maybe the Vice Chair wanted to say something on the same. Is it fine, Vice Chair?
Thank you, Chair. And through you, Nakonde Council, again it draws back to the issue of coordination, and maybe also why I feel my other colleagues are having issues with the issues of whether it's a true copy or it's forged. When also there are elections at I know that the elections, which draws me back, Chair, to the issue of elections, and I think a circular came from Ministry of Local Government on elections of WDCs, Ward Development Coordinators. So again, the issue of coordination involves the Member of Parliament, involve your councillors who are ex-officials, so that they put in credible people that are not going to give you issues like the issues that you're having. If we're going to just be picking anyhow, anybody should be part of the Ward Development Committee. I think the people that are so much interested in the development are the councillors, because they are seeking re-election. The Member of Parliament is seeking re-election. So even him or her, whoever it is that is at that level, would want things properly done. So my appeal to the council through you, Chair, is that coordination is very coordinated works are very important, because some of the things that are coming up are avoidable. They are very avoidable. And also capacity building, please, because I saw some of the monies, Chair, were not utilized under administration. So maybe that should be the money that you should go back to those people and seriously sensitize them. Because some of the issues that are coming up really, it's because of negligence and non-coordination. Because if the councillors are part of the WDCs, some of these things would be avoidable. But for me, what I'm seeing from the complaint, which is a genuine complaint, I'm sure if your members who are councillors were able to see things, they would have been corrected. So my advice, Chair, is that please, can we have a coordinated Nakonde council, where every stakeholder is very important. Some of the things are very much avoidable.
Thank you very much. We have built so much on the same. Can we
Page
progress?
10, Chair.
Page 10.
Council Secretary, are we there? It starts from page 9. On so many issues, community-based projects and spent funds. Bursary secondary schools. Now I'll go to page 10, grants empowerment and spent funds totaling 42,003 kwacha. Are we there?
Yes.
The auditors picked this, that 2 clubs and spent funds amounting to 42,003 kwacha as a result of 2 approved grant beneficiaries who did not manage to collect their funds. Subsequently, the checks became stale and the balance was carried forward to 2023 grant allocation. Chair, refer to Appendix 9. Appendix 9 are the 2 checks. Are we there? These checks, look at the dates: 20th July 2020 what? Council Secretary. Look at the style of photocopy. They blur it and they will not show you the date. Check the other check, the next check, same, they will blur it, they will not show the date. Council Secretary, what is the total of the 2 checks which went stale? The total amount check on the 2 checks, Chair, is 40,000. The queried amount for the 2 clubs, they were given 42,000. How come? The approved amount 42,000 3 kwacha, and the checks that they were cut by the council was only for 40,000.
Thank you.
Who is telling the truth? Are we receiving information that is correct?
Council Secretary, you can ask your treasurer or yourself to reconcile the 2 figures, 42,003 and 40,000.
Chair, I'll ask the treasurer to respond.
Treasurer.
Thank you, Chair. The 42,000 was unspent, the money which was in the bank unspent. But there were 2 checks which we cancelled, it was amounting to 40,000. So when we removed the 40,000, there's only 2,003 kwacha which remain also unspent. I think it was just when you're adding the figures, it was not coming the amount that we're supposed to pay for the grant. But this money was in the bank unspent. I submit.
Because treasurer, our worry is we are not adding anything or subtracting anything from your report. Your report on page 10, this is page 10, is saying these 2 institutions or cooperatives were paid 42,003, which was for 2003 kwacha, and we expected those 2 checks to give us the figure that is equivalent to what was approved. So the question is, why was the 2003 kwacha not added to this as approved amount?
Thank you, Chair. Because it cannot be added because the amount which we didn't pay for the grant was only 40,000 kwacha only.
So why did you approve 42,003 kwacha? Why did you put it as a report in your report? Why did you put? Are you misleading the committee, or you are telling the committee the truth? Because if what you had in the account was 4,000, that's what you are supposed to write to those 2 institutions, 2 cooperatives. We just want to know why the 2003 kwacha was left in the account after approving it to be spent.
Chair, just also to add to your question, if you remember the desks, Nakonde Council had allocated 800,000. I'm sure it was approved, 800,000 for the desks. And the contract which they gave out was 750,000. How do you account for the 50,000 which was balanced? Again here, they allocated to the 2 clubs 42,003 kwacha. And yet the checks are only for 40,000. What type of accounting is this? Are we being led properly, or we're being misled? Or what is it that is happening?
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the allocations when they are made, like for desks, they will allocate 800,000, but that's not a contract sum. So after the processes are done, then you get a contract sum, the actual amount that will be spent. The rest of the money remains in the account.
Thank you.
So even in the similar manner, the checks are 40,000, 2020. The rest of the amount remains in the account, and that can be verified.
Chair, a follow-up. You confirm that these checks are indeed from Atlas Mara. Why is it that the dates cannot be seen properly? And you agree that if Atlas Mara is subpoenaed to confirm these checks and the amounts, they will be the correct. Look at the signatories to the two checks, Chair.
Maybe we go in a quest to save time, Council Secretary, can you ask your treasurer to go outside and ask somebody at the office to send through WhatsApp the picture of this, so that we rest this matter with the correct dates, and then we can proceed with other issues. Because the right check is there.
Sure, Chair.
Please. So we can move on to another question. Yes, Honorable Mutero.
Sir, page 3.
On page 3 of your report, Council Secretary.
Even maybe page 5. Pages 3, 4, and 5. All these contracts were labor-based. What is confusing me? They will pay the labor 20,000. But when they come to the actual amounts, including the materials to be procured by council, the amounts will be different. I want us to understand properly. When it's labor-based, do you get the whole amount and now start dividing the labor and the materials? Or you say it's a labor-based contract, you put a 20,000. When we come down, you would find, because of the materials, the figures swell up. CS, what is the labor-based contract? How do you do that? And why would you still continue in the midst of printing with labor-based?
Council Secretary, on the sum.
Completion of 1x4 classroom block at Waitwika Secondary School, page 3. Chair, I will read the scope of work on this same labor-based. The scope of work included carpentry and joinery, ironmongering, metal work, electrical installation, flooring, finishing, and painting. Chair, I underline painting, Council Secretary. Amounts allocated 99,800, which meant materials 79,800, labor 20,000. A physical inspection of the project carried out in September 2023 revealed that the project had not been completed 15 months after the expected completion date. Action taken by management. Management wishes to state that this project was initiated by the community, and in order to complete it, the works were planned to be executed in phases. Phase 1, completion of the classroom under 2021 CDF, and Phase 2, completion of the administration block under 2022 CDF. The contract which Council engaged Derek Sintumfwa on a labor-based contract with a contract price of 20,000 was for Phase 1. Now, Phase 1, Chair, meant that the building should have been painted, finished and painted. So, why have Phase 2 when in Phase 1 it's supposed to have been finished? But if you look at the works, they were not completed. I seek your guidance.
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, to start with, a labor-based contract, like the Honorable Councillor has rightly put, is where you... Sorry?
Chair, I'm not a councillor.
Unreservedly, I withdraw.
Tell your CS. Tell your
I'm
CS.
sorry.
He is
I'm
the
sorry.
honorable member of parliament.
I'm sorry.
For me, Tete. So it's settled. Council Secretary.
Chair, I'm very, very sorry. It wasn't meant to be like that. So, like I mentioned, Honorable MP, the labor-based contract is where you have where you do like a force account similar. You procure some labor people, maybe just a contract with local people to provide the labor, and then you provide the materials, you buy the materials as a council. So basically, those that are indicated as labor based, that's how they've been executed. But Chair, this was 2022. You come this time around, you don't get this. From 2023, all the projects we've been executing, they are all full contracts. This helps in transferring the risks and do the projects well.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Through you. Yes,
Wait.
it will come.
Hold on.
I'm talking of 2022. How much was 2022 in terms of CDF allocation? 1.6 or 25.7? How much was it?
25 million.
25 million, you still go the labor-based way? No wonder, Chair, I said in the midst of plant. No wonder the project was delayed.
Just to make a comment, Council Secretary. Definitely, I think from the time CDF was increased, we discouraged, or all the councils are discouraged. If you look at this particular project now, look at how long it has taken. Because the labor-based projects always, they incur delayments. Because the basic reason as to why labor-based projects are delayed in councils is because you take time to go and find your friend who should supply the materials. So when he's saying my container is still in Ida, you dilidari until your colleague brings those materials. Then you go and buy from there. But full contract, somebody will give them the money and then they have to buy. But the delayments are always caused by the council in procuring the materials. I'm not saying that's what happened, is your colleague that was doing. I'm giving an example. That's what happens across the country. We sit here, we interrogate every local authority. We get the same. And at times we go into details, we find that the suppliers are related to the officers. So it's not in all councils, but we are meant to believe, because all labor-based contracts are delayed. Look at this particular contract. So please, we are encouraging you, as much as you have already taken that route, that we do not entertain any labor-based contract, because at the end of the day, you are denying service to our people, denying service to our communities. Honorable Nyambosa, you have something to say.
Chair, just to augment what the two of you are saying, when you look at, as Honorable Mtero has said, these were two projects. I want to state my position again. When you are doing the phase one, the monies that you allocated on labor-based and the materials you procured were enough to finish, even paints were procured. I want you to revert back to my point. Did you finish in phase one? Now, going to another project, which is Chiwale Primary School. Chair, what you have just said, on page 5. Further, it was observed that as at 30th September 2023, 129 corrugated iron sheets costing 21,000, then 5 liters of wood preservative costing 2,700, then ridges costing 910 kwacha, and the deformed bars costing 840 had not been delivered to the school by the council, procured and not delivered. This is on another project. Again, you call it phase 1. But if you look at the scope of works on the 2 projects, these materials which they procured using public resources meant to complete them. But the council procured, or they never procured, like in Chiwale, they never delivered. So, why didn't you complete when monies were allocated for completion for the 2 projects, and you had to wait now for the other enhanced 2022 CDF to allocate when monies using the 2021 were adequate to finish the 2 projects?
Yes, Chair. Like I mentioned, Chair, that the project in question was actually for 2021. And Chair, like I mentioned, really, it's just that, you know, this is successive obligations where you take over what you found. This time, Chair, from beginning of 2022, you will not find, I mean, beginning of 2023, you will not find any labor-based projects. We have since migrated and it's not there. Now,
Chair,
to
the
answer
question, sorry, CS.
question,
Did you procure these materials and did you pay this labor? That's a question.
Chair, the first phase of the project, like we said there that it was phased in 2. The first phase was completed. Completed is incompleted. And we have pictorial views of the same. The second phase is where now the administration block came in. And I think maybe the auditors just missed that, or maybe in our explanations with them, interactions, depending on the officers we give them to explain. They could have mistaken the second phase as in part of first phase, but the first phase was completed, painted, because all those works were done, and we have pictorial evidence of the same.
Okay, just there.
Yeah, we look at page 5, Chiwale. Let's go to page 5.
Honorable Nyambose should be given the floor. Council Secretary, when you say maybe the auditors didn't pick it correctly, who interacted with the auditors? Were you not there?
Chair, we have the Works Department, of course.
No, my question is, were you not there?
No, I didn't accompany the auditors.
Yes, that's the first. That's the first question.
Yes.
You didn't attend. And how many days did the auditor spend actually at your institution?
I think about a week.
Okay. In the audit process, there is the auditors who raise queries and ask you to make clarifications. You have that opportunity, right?
Yes, Chair.
And when that opportunity came, did you see this so that you could put the record straight?
The clarification, Chair, I think was made. I have our Director Engineering, maybe he can.
So are we now getting misled by the auditors from your point?
Chair, I wouldn't want to say that the auditors are misleading, but maybe it's an issue of clarification on terms of information.
All right, we'll leave it there. But what I'm saying, when you appear before this committee, we do not want you two institutions to accuse each other. You must be on the same page, because you have enough time behind the closed door. You have enough time at your institution to interact with the auditors. So we wouldn't say this one, but we are going to ask you questions. But just like every member get very concerned, from your submission a few minutes ago to this committee, you said if you check 2023, we have actually migrated. We are no longer using labor-based. September, is it September, from what Honorable Nyambose was reading, we still have materials that are not delivered. 2023, not 2022, 2023. And by council? The council has, we don't know whether you bought these materials or whatever you did, but they are not delivered. 2023. Director Engineering. Instead of whispering to him, please talk to us.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
So when you look at the materials in question, there's there's iron sheets, wood preservative, ridges, and deformed bars. So all these materials are dealing with the superstructure and the roofing. So when you look at our appendix 3 of the superstructure, we even have pictorial evidence to say those materials were procured and they've been installed on site.
That is appendix what?
3. And we even have the ledgers to back up our claim as attached to appendix what? Same appendix, yes.
Treasurer, do you have the what we are looking for? Have you gotten those checks, those checks?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, you can forward it to Secretariat to have a look at it. So when were these materials delivered?
So our stores ledger. Not really.
Because I'm wondering why this query should be appearing in your report if you have done this.
July. Yeah.
When was it done?
So, Chair, when you look at our stores ledgers, they're dated 24th March 2022 and 13th June 2023.
2023 March, and the auditors in
September.
In September, they find these things are not there. They're not delivered. Which is which? And look at the period between March and September. So you were almost accusing the auditors. So now, did you avail this information to them when they came on for physical inspection? Director Engineering, did you do that?
Yes, sir. The information was availed.
You gave these people. Maybe we'll give them an opportunity. Switch off your Auditor General's office. You picked something and presented something.
The information presented, Chair, was at the information found on the ground.
At the beginning of this meeting, I said we are all guided by Cap 12 of the laws of Zambia, that we must present nothing but the truth before this committee. So if the auditors went on the ground and the Director Engineering, Director of Works is saying, no, everything was completed and you have these pictures. So these ones could not see the complete building. That's what we are hearing, isn't it? They went on the ground and they could not find the complete buildings painted, including the ledgers which you are supposed to present to them. Isn't it, Director Engineering? This is very serious, but I'll leave it now. But this is very, very serious to us as a committee. Honorable.
Thank you so much. The auditors go in September, materials delivered. Yes, your people, your team, they delivered earlier in 2022. We've heard to say the issues of successive, the issues of taking over. We hear you. But even when you take over and you come to your committee, give us the right for information. You have to give us, if Zambia has defaulted and you take over as a new government, you just have to say we defaulted on the debt. Then you go into debt restructuring. So when you take over, give the right for what? Information. This picture, Appendix 2, is it painted? Is it painted?
No, not yet.
But here it is saying even what? Painting. And you made your principal to say, go to the picture. Go to the picture. They give us these things. You bring them so that we go through them equally. So that we go through them equally. Chair, what we have been given will remain on to you and your committee.
We'll progress. Let's go to the next question. Next question will be from Honorable Shakafuswa.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. We go to page 12. Question about disbursement of CDF. 7 groups had less than the required members, and they were given an amount of 175,000 kwacha. I have noted that management has acknowledged this audit query and have since asked the clubs to submit. However, I want to find out why the auditor did not undertake due diligence to see that the clubs met all the requirements before the payment was done. Because it is a requirement that the auditor must check the compliance levels. I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Council Secretary.
Chair, maybe I'll allow the auditor to directly answer.
Internal auditor? No. Submitting.
Yes, good morning. Ideally, as per process, before any payment goes through, I think according to the guidelines, the internal auditor is supposed to do a pre-audit of all documentations before a payment goes through. And at the time, I think, because I'm supposed to rely on information that's provided by the CDF committee, and according to the documents that were presented, due diligence was done, and I believe that all information that was brought was as per requirement, based off the information that's produced by the CDF committee.
Chairman, so this management action, I'll read it. It says, management acknowledges the audit findings. The word is acknowledges the audit findings and wishes to mention that all the affected clubs have been engaged to submit all the required membership information and documentation to comply with the guidelines and eligibility criteria. Page 12.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
So who's telling the truth here? Because management is acknowledging that this was not done, and they've since asked that the clubs submit the documentation, which is attached in the appendix.
So as I mentioned before, because this is basically source documents from the individual clubs, then to the Ward Development Committee, and then to the CDFC Committee. And when those particular payments come through, it's almost, I would say, next to impossible to attach all the minutes from the CDFC Committee. But as per job description, it's my job to do the due diligence and go through as much. But I'm supposed to rely on documentation that's brought from the CDF Committee, assuming that all the processes have been done according to the legal framework that's been provided.
Yes.
We are speaking the same thing, and my question is, yes, you're supposed to rely on the documentation, but why did you go ahead to pass the documents that had missing documents for the 7 clubs?
As per pre-audit, you need to ensure that all the documentation that comes doesn't involve necessarily, how can I put it, all the necessary documents all the way from the specific individual clubs, because I rely on information from the Ward Development Committee, which I assume is obviously according to what is supposed to be done, and that information is also produced to the CDFC
Council Secretary, maybe you can chip in.
Yes, Chair. Chair, like we have undertaken here, we take responsibility, Chair. We didn't do the best. Of course, our auditor is just alone now in the department, so there's too much pressure, Chair. But we are doing our best, Chair. So we just take responsibility over this, and we apologize for this.
Thank you. Honorable Nyambose, Honorable Mishek.
Yeah. Chair, Council Secretary, mind the words you are using. When someone is alone in the office doesn't mean that he should be doing wrong things. I think you have acknowledged very well, which this committee has taken, that you going forward. The role of the auditor is to ensure that the payments which are passed are according to the regulations and all attachments are there to qualify. Whether he's alone, it's better he reduces the pace of certification, but he does a correct thing. So these resources were not done properly. I agree with you. Because the question which I had, Chair, was the attachments were just NRCs, copies of NRCs. And we don't know under this query which club, 7 clubs, which club had 2 people missing, 3 people missing. Then since you have acknowledged, I will not ask my question, Chair. I just wanted to clarify.
Thank you.
If you allow me to ask another question,
Before
a different one.
Before a different question, Chair.
The last one, because time will not allow us.
Before the
Please,
the
it
last,
it should be a short one.
a very short one.
Go ahead.
Was he alone at the time when these works were being executed? Because you've just said, because he's alone. Was he alone then?
A short one. Thank you very much.
And if he was not alone, then why do we have these shortcomings? Simple put, let's strengthen our internal auditing. All what is happening from the materials, from whatever was happening, like the audit, internal audit was not there. Auditor, do you advise your principal accordingly? Or you fear?
No, I think I do my best to advise.
What was the advice? To do the illegal things?
Definitely not.
Yes, already. I think the CS has already acknowledged and apologized. Yeah. Please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Page 11, Chair. Unaccounted for grants. Chair, I don't know, I don't want to pass this comment, but this report is a bad report. A lot of shortcomings. Unaccounted for grants totaling 233,356. Management acknowledges the audit findings and wishes to inform the committee that management has since requested the affected groups to provide documentation, records that show how the funds were utilized. This includes detailed reports, receipts, invoices, and any other relevant documents that account for the disbursed funds. This, Chair, brings me to the comments of the Vice Chair. I think she has been very emphatic on the issues of monitoring to ensure that these clubs do the correct thing. Now, when you look at this issue, Chair, I just wanted to confirm to the team that you only constituted the monitoring team, the multi-sectoral monitoring team, on the 25th of July, 2022. Payments, but these payments were released prior to that. Do you have technical staff before constituting this multi-sectoral team? Do you have technical staff under planning, engineering that do the monitoring of these projects? Or you had to wait until you constituted the thing, which led to these clubs mismanaging these resources? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Council Secretary.
Chair, again, I just want to apologize, Chair, for this, and we still want to stand by what we've submitted, that we didn't do a good job in this regard. And going forward, Chair, I want to strengthen these processes so that we can do better going forward. We have, of course, the staff within the council, But like the deputy chair indicated, we needed to strengthen the team by bringing on board other stakeholders from other line ministries. And this is helping us greatly. But also for for these grants, we are having also the other stakeholders like local impact helping us with the financial literacy programs so that we can educate the beneficiaries so that these good programs do not fail at all, but instead the benefits that are required to be accrued can be actually be accrued. So we are engaging a number of other stakeholders to help us in terms of literacy programs. Thank you, Chair.
Thank
Chair,
you very
the
much.
last one, Chair, through you.
Honorable Mtel,
CS, do you
I've
now
not
know?
given you.
Do you now know that the failures of council's management, the failures of council management, are now tagged on the member of parliament? Are you aware? When they do the rating, it's a member of parliament who gets rated and even published. This member of parliament has performed like this. Chair, they're even putting D's. They put an F as if a member of parliament is not working.
Made your point.
Are you aware? Yes.
Chair, I appreciate that, and we would want to make sure that our member of parliament is proud of the team, and so far we are working together as a team. Thank you.
Members, please, I'm discouraging comments when somebody is submitting because that shows disorganization. And we must always remain a honorable committee. Council Secretary, in winding up, we are looking at your submissions. We appreciate your appearance. But like you have indicated from your some of your submissions, you have admitted that you didn't do well. That's not what we expect of you. Like what members are saying in conclusion, our honorable member of parliament from Nakonde wants to make sure that Nakonde district, Nakonde constituency is developed. And the deliverance will only come through you because the guidelines from CDF says you are the ones to implement, you are the ones to monitor. And everything is on you. But you know, when you look at the issue of desks, the first submission, it's a bad one. I'm not sure, but I believe that you do something that will make us proud, or the member of parliament proud, and the nation at large, that the children in your constituency, in that district will not sit on the floor, and that you'll be able to beat the deadline of December 2024, because there will be no more extensions. So you have a huge task in making sure that the desks are made available, the desks are taken into various schools, and that our children are sitting comfortably in various learning institutions. But if you are going to do what you have done, the pace you are moving at, we are afraid that you will not be able to do that. And you know, failing to do that, you know what it means. The second one is I would love you and the Auditor General to sit and be able to reconcile and give us a report on that query on the construction, where the council is saying is completed, ready for use, and the Auditor General's office is saying it's not yet complete. So the committee is giving you 2 weeks to give us a factual report, the report that will help us here. A factual report within 2 weeks should come through Secretariat. A lot of shortcomings that we have seen on CDF, you know, this actually worries not only this committee, but worries the government, because it's like they use the utilization of these funds is a challenge to all local authorities. That's what we are seeing. And spent amounts of money is too much in every local authority. So we don't know what you people should do in order for you to spend all these monies. Above all, we want to make sure that the internal audit system should be strengthened. I think the Auditor General's office is represented here from the Auditor General, Internal Auditor General. Make sure that these systems that you have put in local authorities, to us, most of them are not helping us. The capacity, I don't know, do you train them? If you don't, then I think you should start doing the same, because at the end of the day, they have a mammoth task for them to be able to check on whatever is done in the councils. So we are not very pleased with your submission arising from your admission that yes, here it was an oversight, yes, here we didn't do that. It should not be like that. We should have at least one excuse to say, no, I think here we made a mistake. I think here it was an oversight, but not 1, 2, 3. Then it becomes a problem. Service delivery is affected. In that instance, service delivery is affected. However, we wish you well as I withdraw now the immunity that was conferred on you and allow you to travel to Tunduma. Go well. Thank you very much. Oh, Nakonde. Sorry. Thank you.
Parliament TV, bringing Parliament closer to you.
Zambian. Staff. Zambia Police. Cha, 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 cha. Heka to yakati. What about the soldiers? Holile, holile. Atchito yangani kulima. Koma mulungu ndiye aziwa. Simene mtima ufuna. Koma mulungu ndiye aziwa. Simene mtima ufuna newo. Holile, holile. Chito yangani kulima. Koma mulungu ngalukalilila muzambia yetu twewoho gutusunga gukumwa tusunga gutamani luyando lwanu ngalukalilila mujisi yesu gutulelo gukumwa tulela gutamani luyando lwanu ngalukalilila muzambia yesu luyando lutamani luyando lutamani ngalukalilila mubungi bwangu ngeboho luyando lutamani luyando lutamani ngalukalilila mujisi yesu tweboho luyando lutamani luyando lutamani ngalukalilila muzambia yesu tweboho ngalukalilila ngalukalilila gaga ngalukalilila mubumbi bwangu mebo